Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Last week I asked you on Instagram what are your sticking points when it comes to street photography, and I got a lot of feedback from you guys, but instead of talking about all the replies I got, I picked like the 5 big ones that came up over and over again, and somewhat I can relate to most of them as well. So let's get started. Alright guys, before we jump right into point number 1, a quick reminder: if you haven't picked up my Zine 28 with a lot of street photography from Egypt, you can do so now. And if you want a signed copy, you have until the next Sunday, October 6th, because after that I will be traveling for a couple of months and then I cannot sign it anymore for a pretty long time. In the meantime, you can still order the zine, but I will not ship it myself, so I cannot sign it. So if you want a signed copy, now it's the time to order. Okay, let's get to point number 1. So a lot of you are not sure what kind of camera to use or what settings to use, and this was a really big one. And for me personally, I'm also pretty much caught up in the whole gear thing, because right now I'm filming with a brand new lens that I picked up to film in the future. So as you can see, I'm changing my filming rig once in a while. For some reason I cannot find like the perfect thing. The same thing might be true for you if it comes to street photography. For me personally, it took me like 10 years to figure out what I want to shoot and what I want to do. So for me, it's a 28mm lens, like this one. You have probably seen it before. And for me, this is like the perfect focal length. And this, for me personally, that's the way to go on film and on digital cameras as well. If you have way too much gear and you don't know what to pick, maybe just pick one camera and one lens and try to use it for a couple of months and try to master it. By then you will pretty much know if that is the right camera or the right lens for you. And in the meantime, try to stay away from purchasing new stuff, because it won't make you a better photographer, as you might know. And instead of chasing for the perfect camera for you, maybe just stick to one setup in terms of focal length. Try to stick to a 28 or 35, even though it might seem intimidating shooting at 28 and getting really close. Give it a try. I mean, for me, when I bought the Leica Q 4 years ago, was my first time shooting a 28mm lens, and I got used to it fairly quickly. So, and now it's my favorite focal length, and little did I know back then. So yeah, give it a try. Also related to that is the question about what settings to use, and I have to say it's pretty simple. I made a video a couple of months ago talking about what settings to use when shooting street photography at night. If you haven't checked it out, it will be linked in the description box down below. And in the daytime, I mean, it's fairly simple. Just stick to a shutter speed of 500 or 1000 if there's enough light. Stop down your lens to f8, f11, and if you shoot a digital camera, use auto ISO. That usually works pretty well for me. And if you shoot film, pick a film that is fast enough to handle this kind of settings, like 800 speed, or push if you shoot black and white, push it to 1600, and you should get some good results. But also, if you shoot film, pick up a good light meter. This will come a long way and will help you out in the future for sure. But in general, when it comes to settings, what to shoot, whatever, maybe I should make a video that is only dedicated to the settings that I would recommend shooting in the daytime. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments down below and I will make it happen. The next sticking point is not having enough time or living in a small city where there's nothing going on. So if you don't have the time to go out and shoot on a regular basis, maybe you can try to go, if you have a lunch break, just go out on your lunch break, go out for 30 minutes every day and try to shoot. I mean, for some people, if you have family and everything, it's not that easy to find the time to go out and shoot, but even if you go out only for 30 minutes, this will help you a lot improve in the long run if you do this like for a couple of months, a couple of weeks. But what if you got the time, but you live in a small city where there's not much going on? Yes, this might be tough, this might be hard. I can relate to that pretty much. The town that I'm living in is not that big, and it gets really boring to go out and shoot here, and I pretty much enjoy traveling to street photography a lot. There's not much you can do if you live in a small city. The only thing is, maybe once in a while, try to travel to a bigger city that's nearby, where you can go on a regular basis and try to shoot as much as possible. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that even if you live in a big city, even people that live in New York, if they live there for a while, after some time it gets boring too, and it's pretty much the same thing. So I've heard from people telling me that they are bored about New York, shooting in New York, and I was, what? How can you be bored shooting in New York? But it's true. I mean, it doesn't matter. If you get used to a place and it's like so familiar, then it might get boring over time, and you might have to go to a different place or explore different areas in the city that you're living in. So now the worst case scenario is if you have no time and you live in a small city, then you're pretty much screwed. Then the only way you can do street photography is by watching YouTube videos and maybe reading books. Yeah, so this whole having no time or being in a place that is not suitable for street photography, even if you might think that I'm traveling all the time and I'm in all these exciting places to do street photography, that's not true. I mean, only once in a while. Most of the time I'm at home and I cannot do that much street photography because I'm pretty busy, and also it's, like I said, it's boring in shooting in my hometown. So if you have the same struggle, maybe hopefully in the future you will be able to have more time and maybe travel a bit more. Now, while the sun is setting here, let's talk about the biggest point that came up a lot, and that is getting close to people. And for me personally, in the past, that has been a problem too. If you know my videos, you think I have no problems approaching strangers, getting really close. But back in the day, it was different. And what helped me was just try to force myself, step out of my comfort zone and get close to people. What you can try is, if you're out and about, there's a bunch of people, just get close to strangers without your camera. Just not doing street photography, just get close and try to embrace the awkward feeling that you might feel in that moment. And if you do this a lot, the awkward feeling of approaching strangers will slowly fade away. And after some time, you will see that it's not a problem to approach strangers and take photos, not at all. But that's a thing that takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to build up the confidence. But I'm pretty sure you will get there if you want. So what also came up a lot is that some of you, they are hesitant because they don't want to get in the way of people or they don't want to bother people. But what you have to keep in mind is these are only assumptions, because you don't know if you bother people or if you're really getting in the way. If they feel bothered by you, they will tell you. So they have the right to tell you, and if they don't assume that you're bothering someone, because maybe you don't. Maybe a lot of people might enjoy that you take their photo. My experience is that more often people smile or they laugh if I take their photo and then complain about it. It's pretty rare that people really complain. And also, if you're out and about, it's very likely that you will bother someone just by being there. If you drive your car and you change your lane, probably somebody will feel bothered by that, but will you stop driving your car because of that? Probably not. So I think don't feel that you bother someone or that you, I don't know, that you get in the way of people. Just do whatever you want to do. I mean, and as long as you're not jumping in front of people and scaring them to death, I don't think there's a big problem, and it's not a big deal even if you bother someone or even if you're getting in the way of somebody. Another thing that came up a lot is being too slow, and I can relate to that too, because in the beginning I wasn't fast at all. The thing is, at one point I figured out that I have to get my settings dialed in, and if I do so, then I will become a lot faster because I can focus on my subject and I don't have to fumble around with my camera. Because as soon as you're thinking about what settings should I use, the moment is gone. This happened to a lot of us, I guess. And yeah, like I said, have your settings dialed in, and then if you see something you want to shoot, don't hesitate, just go for it. Because if you wait 2, 3, 4 seconds, it's very likely that you will not go there and the moment might be gone anyway. So I think if you're too slow, get your settings dialed in and also practice a lot, and eventually you will get a lot faster. Alright guys, these are the things that came up the most. If you want me to make a video, a more in-depth video about a certain topic, let me know in the comments down below. And also if you want to pick up a signed copy of my zine, you have until the next Sunday, October 6th, and after that you have to wait for a couple of months. More on my traveling, what's going on and what kind of gear I will bring and all that nonsense. I will make a video about that on Sunday. And yeah, as always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we will see each other very soon in the next one. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.